want your gut reaction to today's video, so please stay to the end and share with me what you think. Not that long ago, if you had said gut microbiome, no one would have known what you were talking about. People had not heard of the gut microbiome and had no idea how it was connected to health. How about the second brain? Have you heard that the gut is sometimes referred to as our second brain? There's been a lot of recent research on gut health and its connection to disease, and a couple of articles have come across my feed recently that got my attention, so I wanted to dive into it a bit with you. In today's video, I'm going to share a bit about the gut microbiome, what the research is saying about its connection to MS, and some super easy ways for us to improve our gut health to help us manage our symptoms and possibly reduce the severity of our MS. After my first relapse in 2006, I got really scared of what would happen to me in the future. They said it might be MS, but they weren't sure. MS? Are you kidding me? The only thing that I knew about MS at that time was that Annette Funicello had it and she was severely disabled from it. It was one of those oh shit moments in life. After the initial shock of being told it might be MS, I decided that I was going to try to do everything I could to take the best care of my health. I made some diet and lifestyle changes, including eating a more vegetarian diet and adding a regular yoga practice. I went 10 years without another relapse. After my second relapse, I received my diagnosis. I was put on a DMT, and then I got really serious about my health. I started diving into how I could keep my body as healthy as possible. I started reading all the research and all the books and anything I could find on autoimmune diseases. I also started taking classes so that I could become more educated on how to support my health. I still do that today. I now do 4 things in addition to my DMT to help support my health. I eat a predominantly whole food plant-based diet, I exercise regularly, I try to get good sleep, and I practice mindfulness. In 2021, one of the books that I read was Fiber Fueled by Dr. Bulsiewicz. It is a great book that dives deep into what the gut microbiome is and how we can keep it healthy. And I'll link it below if you'd like to check it out. I also took Dr. Bulsiewicz's 21-day microbiome reset class so I could learn even more about the gut and how to keep it healthy. And I'll share some of the tips that Dr. B has to help us keep our guts happy. Before I get to that though, I want to share a bit about what those 2 articles had to say about the microbiome and MS, and I will link them both below too. In the first article from Yale that was published in February of 2025, they talked with Erin Longbreak, MD and PhD, about a recent study that she was the principal investigator on. She says the microbiome interfaces with the environment as well as the immune system. Theoretically, the environmental risk factors could predispose people to MS because they change the bugs that are in our gut. The environmental risk factors that the article highlighted were poor diet and smoking. It went on to say that researchers found that people newly diagnosed with MS and that had not started a DMT yet had a smaller number of bacteria coded in an antibody known as host immunoglobulin A. They also found that those that started a B-cell depleting drug had microbiomes that more closely resembled the microbiomes of healthy controls than they had pre-treatment. Longbreak said this gives us some clues into the mechanisms underlying how this type of drug works to treat MS. Well, that's cool. In the next article from Medical News Today that was published in March of 2025, they discussed a study recently released in PNAS, the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, one of the world's most cited and comprehensive scientific journals. They quoted Ashutosh K. Mangalam, PhD and lead author of the study. He says studies have shown that bacteria found in people with MS differ from those in healthy individuals. The exact differences are not yet known, and more research is needed to see how our gut bacteria may be influencing our MS. But the research done by Mangalam and his team shows some interesting things. They found a bacteria called Blaudia, which is more common in people with MS, and a bacteria called Provotella, which is found in lower amounts. This imbalance, this dysbiosis, may play a role in MS. In their study, they studied the mouse model of MS, and they found that the ratio of 2 bacteria may predict the severity of our MS. They found that mouse given Blaudia had low levels of bacterium, bifidobacterium, and high levels of Akkermansia before their MS symptoms appeared. Both Blaudia and Akkermansia feed on the mucin, part of our gut lining, but they munch on different parts of it. And when these bacteria are out of balance, it leads to inflammation. And bifidobacterium thrives in a healthy, non-inflammatory environment. So this led them to hypothesize that the ratio of bifidobacterium to Akkermansia could serve as a potential marker for MS and its severity. Who knew our gut bugs could be so complicated and sensitive? The article went on to talk about probiotics and if taking them in supplement form may help us. Mangum said that they may help, but it's too early in research to say for sure. He said rather than focus solely on probiotics, I would recommend incorporating a healthy plant-based diet into daily meals, as diet plays a crucial role in shaping the gut microbiome, and even small dietary changes, such as increasing the intake of fiber-rich fruits and vegetables, may support a more balanced microbiome. Yes, our moms were right. We need to eat our fruits and veggies. So what else can we do to help our guts be healthy? It's actually quite easy. Dr. Bulsiewicz says the single greatest predictor of a healthy gut microbiome is the diversity of plants in our diets. Dr. Bulsiewicz recommends the consumption of 30 different plants in a given week as the greatest predictor of our gut microbial diversity. I know, it seems like a lot. 30 different plants in a week, but it's really quite easy to do. Here's an example of how to get 23 in just one day. Breakfast could be oatmeal with blueberries, raspberries, and a sprinkle of ground flax seeds. That's 4. Lunch could include a large mixed green salads. The mixed greens could have 4 different kinds of greens. Add red bell pepper, carrots, zucchini, summer squash, celery, red onion, chickpeas, and purple cabbage. That's 12 more. Dinner could be a black bean and sweet potato chili made with white onion, green pepper, sweet potatoes, garlic, diced tomatoes, black beans, and quinoa. That's 7 more. In just one day of simple meals, there are 23 plants. Next is exercise, also from Dr. Bulsiewicz's book. There was a 40% increase in healthy gut microbes with exercise. When we exercise regularly, we can increase the diversity of microbes in our guts, including the ones that create butyrate, which decreases inflammation, and we increase our gut's ability to create short-chain fatty acids, which also can reduce inflammation. And next is stress. Do you ever get butterflies in your stomach when you're nervous or stressed? Or do you get digestive issues with stress? Yeah, stress can definitely affect our gut microbiome. This review says results from subsequent studies have continued to support a connection between gut microbiota and stress responsiveness. If we can manage our stress with mindfulness or meditation, our guts and our brains will be healthier and happier. The next thing we can do is to spend time out in nature and get dirty. There are microbes in the dirt that can help our guts. From this study on children, they found these findings suggest the exposure to environmental microbial diversity can change the microbiome and modulate the function of the immune system in children. And in conclusion, our study demonstrated that modifying the living environment of children with microbiologically diverse natural materials might provide a feasible approach for decreasing the risk of immune-mediated diseases in urban populations. So get outside. Get your hands in the dirt. Walk around barefoot. The bacteria that live in our guts are also part of our gut-brain connection. Gut microbes produce or help produce many of the chemical neurotransmitters that convey messages between our gut and our brain, and they help to keep our brains happy. We can help our gut microbiome by eating a large diversity of plants, exercising regularly, reducing stress, and getting out in nature. So what do you think? What's your gut reaction to this information? Let me know in the comments below. I love to hear from my viewers. I said in a recent video to believe the diagnosis, but not the prognosis. There's so much that we can do to improve our health, help manage our symptoms, and possibly reduce the severity and progression of our MS with diet and lifestyle changes. If you found this video helpful, could you please do me the favor of sharing it with others? It really helps the channel. Thanks. I'll put a link to it in the description and the comments below. To see more about changes that can help us manage our MS, watch these videos next. And until next time, be well.